Hi, it's me Jacqueline. Welcome to my channel. If you're new to the channel, then please subscribe my channel and visit my Patreon page, link in the description. As much as I thought I wanted to stop changing personas, I couldn't help myself from becoming Michelle every day after arriving home from school. Since the first day back, Mom hadn't seen Jimmy again because I only became him when it was time to go to school in the morning, and she quickly adapted to calling me Michelle. At school, Jennifer paid attention to me like never before. She made sure that she always sat next to me during lunch, and she put her arm on my shoulders when we walked together through the halls. She kept asking me for costume suggestions or making suggestions of her own. I nixed doing the Sunny and Cher bit again, and also nixed the idea of going as Gabrielle to her Xena, warrior princess. Each day she'd have a new suggestion for costumes, but most of her ideas had me in a dress. On Friday night, I used adhesive on the breast forms, intending to remain as Michelle until Monday morning. After the dishes were washed, Mom and I sat in the living room watching the tapes of me doing the weather and news in Illinois. We had been watching a few every night, in chronological order, and we had only made a dent in the pile. Mom always critiqued my presentation and told me she could see a real improvement over previous shows. I had to admit that I did seem more at ease with each new night. On Saturday, Mom announced at breakfast that we were going shopping. We'll take a ride and stop at the first mall that we find more than an hour away. We won't run into anyone we know. Okay, Mom. When do you want to leave? As soon as we can clean the breakfast dishes and get ready. We didn't arrive home until after 9 o'clock. We had eaten a light lunch at the shopping mall and stopped at a small restaurant on the return trip. The rest of the day had been spent in the stores. We had found several new outfits for Mom, clothes that gave her a much more youthful look than the ones that she would have picked out for herself, and a few things for me. I tried to talk Mom out of buying anything for me except the jeans that I needed by saying that I had more than enough clothes already, but she insisted by saying that I needed a couple of things that didn't advertise my body quite so explicitly. I couldn't argue with that and would up with 2 skirts and a dress that I wouldn't have to struggle to get into. Jennifer resumed her efforts to settle the costume issue on Monday, reminding me that we only had 6 weeks left to get them ready. She'd find me between most classes so she could pitch her latest idea as I hurried to reach my next classroom before the bell rang. While trying to shake her off so I could get into my 6th period classroom, I agreed to go as bride and groom just to get away from her. I expected to see her again after class and talk her out of it, but she was nowhere in sight as I walked to my bus for the ride home. Mom was wiping the table while I washed the dishes when I heard a knock at the kitchen door. Turning towards the door, I saw Jennifer's face staring at me through the glass. Callers usually go to the living room door in the front of the house, but we used the kitchen door, located on the side of the house close to the driveway, as our family entrance. Jennifer had been to my house a number of times when we were growing up, and it was the entrance she chose tonight. I stood in front of the sink, frozen in place, my plastic gloves dripping soapy water as I stared at her. Mom walked to the door after seeing the look on my face. Yes, she said to Jennifer as she opened the door. Hi, Mrs. Ashley. I'm Jennifer Crowley. We met last year. Yes, Jennifer. I remember you now. You and Jimmy went to the Halloween dance last year. Yes, that's right. We're going together again this year, and I brought over Jimmy's costume, she said, motioning to the garment bag that she was carrying. Won't you come in? Jennifer stepped inside. Thank you. Mom looked at me. Michelle, you're dripping water on the floor. Mom's words unfroze me, and I realized that my dripping gloves had created a tiny puddle on the floor. Grabbing a couple of paper towels, I bent and wiped the floor. Jennifer, this is Michelle. Michelle? Jennifer said, smiling. I thought you might be Ashley James, the famous newswoman from Illinois. No, she's Michelle Ashley, Mom said. Hi, Michelle, she said. Hi, Jennifer, I responded as I rose up. Jimmy isn't here right now, but I'll be sure that he gets the costume, Mom said. Jennifer looked at me intently, unsure of how to respond. Mom's act wasn't fooling her. Good try, Mom, but she knows it's me. We've been friends since we were 6 years old. We stood there like that for several seconds, everyone unsure of what to say. Jennifer finally broke the silence with, Michelle, You're beautiful, absolutely stunning. I love your hair like that. How come you're using the name Michelle now? Using Ashley here in the house was confusing. A few more seconds passed without words, so I added, it's a little awkward having you see me like this. I know. When I saw you by the sink, I didn't know if I should knock or just leave. I'm glad I knocked. She paused for a couple of seconds. Wait till you see the great gown I brought. It'll look great on you. Gown. Yes, so we can be a bride and groom. My mom is going to get a tux for me to wear. I looked at Mom, who just looked back. I didn't know that you wanted me to be the bride. I can't do that, I said. Jennifer, going to a function dressed in a wedding gown might cause Jimmy to be the recipient of great ridicule. Mom asked. Jennifer looked first at Mom, then back to me. Certainly not for me. Perhaps not, but everyone isn't so enlightened. Jennifer had only looked away from me briefly, but now she put the garment bag over the back of a kitchen chair and looked directly at Mom. It's a Halloween party, Mrs. Ashley. There will be any number of other boys there dressed as girls. Last year there were at least 6 guys wearing skirts or dresses. No one will give it a second thought. But how many were trying to make themselves look passable as a woman, and how many were doing it as a joke? I guess that none looked really passable. Jimmy's size and features make him more than passable. People might not understand it was a joke. But it's Halloween. A lot of people go to great lengths to look authentic in their costumes. One of the girls went as a witch last year, and she looked so realistic that she could have been made up by a Hollywood special effects person. I understand, but surely you can see my point. Can't you? Mrs. Ashley, the other girls in our crowd, and I would never do anything to hurt Jimmy. Looking at me, she said, we all love him. And the boys would never do anything either, or they'd really learn how terrible a woman's wrath can be. I promise you that no one will dare poke fun at Jimmy. Jennifer, I said, I don't think I can do it. If people at school were to find out about me, we'd have to move away. Mom and I discussed that last week. Move away? Why? Not everyone would be as understanding as you are. Even if the other girls accepted me as Michelle, the guys are another matter. I know that you'd try to protect me, but it probably wouldn't be enough. Right now I'm kind of invisible because most people don't pay any attention to me. But if I was to show up dressed as I am now, nobody would be able to ignore me anymore. I think you underestimate people. This isn't the 20th century anymore. Jennifer, remember back in the 5th grade when you were the tallest girl in our class? You were taller than all the boys except Mike Brown. Remember what they called you? Beanpole, she said, grimacing. But they stopped after a while. But not until more of the boys grew taller than you. But that was years ago. We were children. We're adults now. It wasn't that long ago. And remember that new substitute teacher last year? I think her name was something like Mrs. A. She left after only 3 weeks because everyone teased her unmercifully about her pockmarked face. Her students were calling her Acne Annie. It wasn't her fault that she was born with a skin problem that left her face scarred. Do you really think that we're all adults? Okay, so we do have a few jerks around who will never grow up. But if you're afraid of someone finding out, why are you dressed as Michelle now? When I get home from school, I need a sense of normalcy. Normalcy? You mean you always dress like this outside of school? Well, I did all summer. It's a long story, but I'll try to summarize it. I lost a bet with my cousin Lisbeth in Illinois, and I had to attend a dance dressed as a girl, where I was seen by a man from a television studio. He arranged for me to be interviewed for a job that paid so well I couldn't refuse it, and I spent the entire summer living as a girl. You saw me on television, so you know that I'm passable. Jennifer smiled. I can't wait to hear your essay for Mrs. Baldwin's class tomorrow, she said, giggling. Jennifer, I whined. Obviously, I can't tell the truth. I've made up some lies and used half-truths. How much were you making as a reporter? I was being paid $5,000 a week when I left the station. Jennifer coughed. Oh my God, $5,000 a week? I'd wear a chicken suit, sit on a hard-boiled egg, and cluck like a hen all summer if I got paid that well. But you're doing it now without getting paid. Like I said, dressing like this had become normal for me. When I got home from school today, I retreated into my alter persona. That's some persona. If I didn't know you so well, I'd never guess that you aren't a real girl. Not in a million years. Jennifer paused and scrutinized me. You aren't really a girl, are you? Don't you know? I thought I did, but seeing you like this up close, I'm not so sure. You look more like a girl than most girls I know. I fooled a lot of people this summer. Nobody found out? No one. Except you, that is. I'm the only one, she said brightly. As far as I know, only you and my family know that Ashley James and James Ashley are one and the same person. As I said before, my mom and I were discussing moving out of state. No, you can't move away. Not because of this, and not because of me. If you don't tell anyone, and no one else finds out, we can stay. What happens to Jimmy? Jimmy will be back at school tomorrow morning. And Michelle? I don't know. Maybe she'll be here from 4 o'clock on, until it's time to leave for school the next day. You make one sexy lady. I wish I were half as beautiful as you are. I was really looking forward to seeing you in the gown I brought. If you'll promise to keep Michelle's secret, Mom said, I'm sure she'll consent to trying on the wedding gown for you. Will you, Michelle? Of course I'll keep your secret. I was trapped. I knew that Mom was just trying to get Jennifer to commit to keeping the secret, but I hadn't wanted to encourage her Halloween idea by putting on the gown. If I tried to back out now, Jennifer might get angry. Okay, I'll try on the wedding gown. Why not, I thought. I had tried on tons of clothes over the summer. One more dress, more or less, certainly wouldn't hurt. It's not actually a wedding gown. It's bridesmaid's dress that I got for my sister's wedding, but it looks a lot like a wedding gown. I wore it a few years ago and it's too short for me now, but I thought that it might be just right for Jimmy. Jennifer picked up the garment bag and followed me to my room. I unbuttoned my blouse and skirt and removed them while she took the gown out of the bag. Your room isn't very feminine, Michelle. I could help you fix it up if you'd like. Thanks, Jennifer, but I think it should remain as it is, in case anyone visits. Oh, okay. But just a couple of simple changes wouldn't give away your secret. A lot of guys have rooms decorated by their moms. Are you wearing a corset? Yes. I have to. My clothes are all tailored for a very small waist. As she lifted the gown above my head, I noticed Jennifer staring at my breasts. They're breast forms, I said. They look so real, she said in amazement. Yes, once attached to the body properly, they simulate real breasts. It's probably the reason why no one ever caught on during the summer. Can I touch them? I smiled. Sure. I don't feel anything. As Jennifer fondled the breast forms, she said, I bet you had all the guys drooling and licking the television set. Your breasts are large for a girl your size who hasn't had implants. Lift your arms, dear. Jennifer let the gown settle around my body. It zipped easily and wasn't nearly as tight as the clothes I was used to wearing, except in the bodice. It was more than a little long, though. I wasn't as well endowed as you are, she said. Hell, I'm still not as well endowed. And I was taller, even back then. Put on your shoes. I put on a pair with 5-inch heels, but the dress still dragged on the floor. Jennifer pulled and tugged, straightening the gown as much as possible. We can let it out a little in the chest, take it in at the waist, and hem it to the right length. Mom, standing by the door, said, I'll get some pins, and disappeared. I hoped that the hemming was just so Jennifer could see me wearing the dress tonight. Mom returned a few seconds later, and she and Jennifer got down on their hands and knees to pin the bottom so it didn't drag on the floor. Mom got almost as excited as Jennifer seemed to be at seeing me in the gown, and together they gently pulled and tugged at the garment, talking about taking some in here and letting some out there, using pins to alter the fit. When they were done, Mom went to get her camera because she wanted a picture of me in the gown. Jennifer walked to my closet and opened the doors as if invited to look in. Oh, Michelle, you have so many clothes. I was Ashley all summer, and I couldn't wear the same clothes every day. I even had a second wardrobe provided by a boutique that got free advertising. I didn't get to keep the clothes, of course. Oh, wow. I wish I was out there. I wish that I could have seen you on the air. You can see her, Jennifer, Mom said as she entered the room with her camera. We have an entire box of videotapes that contain her broadcasts. She wanted to leave them in Illinois, but I wanted to see them. We can watch a couple after we're done here. Mom posed me and took a number of pictures. It was always the same when she said she wanted to get a picture of me. Afterwards, Jennifer helped me remove the gown, then placed it back into the garment bag as I wiggled back into my clothes. "Can we see the tapes now?" Jennifer asked my mom as I brushed my hair and fixed my makeup. By 10 o'clock, we had watched 2 weeks' worth of weather reports. Either Jennifer or I had jumped up to change the tapes as each finished and was rewound. "Michelle," Mom said, "you were wonderful from the beginning, but I can still see improvement with each new day. I learned a little more each day and became more comfortable in the job. I doubt that you'll see much improvement from here on out." By the end of my first month, I was pretty much over the pre-broadcast nervousness. "I think you were fantastic," Jennifer said. "I can't believe you were able to stand up there, live, in front of tens of thousands of viewers and announce the weather. I would have been so nervous I would have peed my pants the first night." "I was nervous at first. You'd never know it from looking at the tapes," Mom said. "I'd never have guessed," Jennifer said in agreement. "I just pretended that I was speaking to the camera person and ignored the fact that it was going out as a live broadcast. It was easy. It's getting late. Do you need a ride home, Jennifer?" "No thanks, Mrs. Ashley. It's less than 2 blocks walk. I'll be home in a few minutes." Jennifer retrieved the gown from my bedroom and I said goodbye as she left. As Jimmy, I would have walked her home, but I feared going out in my neighborhood while dressed as Michelle. The streets were well lighted and it was still early. Please subscribe for the next part and visit my Patreon page for early access.